So as you could probably tell from the accent, not Australian. I'm not even a Kiwi. I grew up in New York, knew I wanted to be a fireman when I was 8 years old. My life took a different path and ended up in IT, which got me to New Zealand in 1990 for a 1 year contract. And I never left. I ended up spending 25 years on the Wellington Westpac rescue helicopter. And that finished. My last flight with them was about 8 years ago. And now I use all my lessons from the rescue helicopter and all of that other stuff to work with organizations on crisis management.
Amazing. And I am thinking with all those rescues under your belt, you would have a lot of stories to be able to share with your audience. What really inspired you to start speaking and sharing your insights?
So I've got nearly 4,000 rescues. And what I learned during my rescue helicopter career is that the lessons from the rescue helicopter really resonate with businesses. One of my biggest clients in New Zealand has been accountants who are
Wow.
really the last ones you would think would resonate with rescue helicopters stories. But because I'm able to link them up with make the story be relevant to them,
Mhm.
it works.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. I've got a story for every lesson, and the stories people remember. But the part I really love is they remember the story and how it pertains to them in their business. Otherwise, it's just a nice story.
Yeah, amazing. And I think that's really key. And I've seen you speak before, and one of the personal highlights for me was not only your amazing stories and how you share them, but how the moments that I had where I could go, oh wow, like I can see that's really cool and how I can bring that into my business and my operations. So I definitely think that that's something that's going to be a highlight for our attendees. From your perspective, what can our attendees expect from your session at the event?
First off, thank you. It always makes my heart happy when people remember not only the stories but how it pertains to them. So that's great. Um, so the attendees at any event I get some frameworks that they could use the next day. I'm not about things that are, way up in the air, pardon the pun, but things that are practical and they can implement the next day in their own business. And so they're going to get my main framework, the BRACE framework, which is really about um, 5 steps you need to think about when things go wrong.
Mm.
So that framework really serves well. They'll hear about 6 different questions they could ask anytime they're trying to manage an incident or a crisis and really figure out what next steps are and a few secrets, which I haven't quite
Amazing.
figured out yet.
I was going to say we have to keep some secrets. I think we
Uh,
can't let it all out of the all of the what's the saying, the cat out of the bag too early. And I think again, like if I reflect on having seen you speak before, one of the key takeaways for me was that it was the real practical advice, the frameworks that I could follow, and having that context as well. So I can see that our audience is really going to love all of that. So I guess I'd be interested to know, like, from your perspective, you've got an amazing topic. It's super relevant to business and the business landscape right at the moment. But from your perspective, like, why is this so important? And why do you think that businesses really need to be across this message and this content?
yeah, COVID caught out so many businesses. Like, even in
Mm.
all my worst case scenarios I do with businesses, I never imagined a thing that was just going to close down cities and states and countries. And yet COVID did. It's totally changed our world. Doing a video from 2 different countries, it's changed the way we work. But what I find time and time again, whether it's a small business like me, just one person with some support from others,
Mm.
or a Westpac bank, which was the sponsor of the rescue helicopter. So I feel comfortable. No matter how small or big your organization is, we all face risks. they might be different, but a lot of them are the same. But the thing is, you have to figure out what your risks are and then prepare for them.
Mm,
And if you're prepared for earthquakes, then you're also prepared for flooding and other natural disasters. So it doesn't have to be a huge task. It just takes a little bit of time. And one thing I'm going to offer on the night when I'm with you is go into a little bit about risks that and a way to identify them. And people will be able to download a list of 100 risks that they should think about. And then some of them will just go, no, that doesn't pertain to me. Others, they'll say, yep, that's highly relevant. And
mm,
then they'll be able to download a spreadsheet, um, which lets them prioritize the risk. And it's the same thing that any big company who has a risk department does. It's
mm,
about knowing your risks, the probability, and the impact,
mhm.
and bringing those all together. And if it's high impact and low probability, it would probably come up as a red, meaning you have to work on it.
Mm.
But if it's something unlikely to happen, and if it does happen, it's low impact, just, you could forget about that one for now. And
Yeah, amazing. Checklists and spreadsheets are two of my favorite things. So I am excited to be able to get access to both of those, as well as listen to your sessions. So, your content sounds, like you said, it can be applied across smaller businesses right through to corporate organizations. But given, your work and your background, is there any particular areas or any particular people who you think particularly benefit from hearing your session?
well, that's when I put on my professional speaking hat, one thing I learned early on is you can't speak to everyone, because if you try to speak to everyone, you speak to no one,
Mm,
and find your niche. So I find that my ideal clients are either high risk,
hmm.
construction, mining,
Yeah,
energy,
cool.
or high stress. And that could be finance. It can be small business. Some of
Mm,
my biggest stresses in my life have been in running a business, not on the helicopter.
yeah.
Um, but they've got different needs. And
Yeah.
one of the things that is almost done, and I'll be able to tell people about it on the night, is a video series for small business who can't afford to bring someone like me or any consultant at, an exorbitant price. Well, I would
Yeah.
think it was exorbitant for my small business. But what a corporate thinks is reasonable, I think is not going to happen. So a video that only takes the risky stuff and walks you through every step of it in a workbook. Um, because one of the things I've realized through my helicopter career and through my business now is that we're all at the same risk, but
Mm,
we're not all at the same advantage.
yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I
Yeah.
was on the helicopter, we spent a lot of time identifying risks. And then if we could prove the risk, then we would go to our executive team and our board and say,
Mm,
we need $100,000 for this. And if we could prove the need, that's great.
yeah.
But, if someone came to me and said, you really need to do all this stuff and it's going to cost you $10,000, I'd be like, yeah, that's a nice to have.
Yeah,
But the day
exactly.
when the stuff happens, I would
Mm,
so wish I had done it.
exactly. Yeah.
And
Amazing.
yeah, so it's finding that balance. And also, personally, I want to make it available to anyone who wants to
Mm,
do it.
mm,
And you would know from your own stuff, everything you need to know is probably out there on the internet somewhere for free.
mm.
But then the number of hours you need to
Yeah.
spend to find it all is not makes it difficult, to say the
Mm.
least. So if I could at least package it up in an easy to grasp, here's how you do it, and a few people find it useful, that'd be great.
Amazing. And that's something that I love about the work that you do is you bring that really high level corporate oversight and expertise, but you make it really accessible and also practical to small business as well. So you know, I know the people who come to our event, and I know that they're going to just love hearing from you. Is there anything else you want to share around what's coming up for you or what people can expect before we wrap up today?
Sure. Hey, I am so excited. I've connected with a bunch of your people on LinkedIn already, and we're making sure that we catch up on the night. But I'm trying to move and do more in Brisbane. I love coming
Yeah,
over to Queensland,
good move.
and yeah, it's a great, although that hot weather with the rain, but it's better than the winter we've been having this summer in Wellington.
I bet.
Um, the yeah, I just really want to meet people and connect. I want to do exactly what you do with your Link Local. I want to connect with people, and if anyone on the night thinks I might be able to help them or they know someone I could help, it's going to be great. And
Yeah.
if I don't make any other connections other than the people in the room, it's still going to be great because I'll
Mm.
know, I don't know, 80 or 100 new people that I don't
Mm.
know today. So
Well,
look
amazing.
forward.
As I said to you before we jumped on recording, we have got really, really strong numbers. So I'm really excited. You're proving to be very popular. So yeah, I'm sure we're going to have a full house. And I know that, as I said to you earlier as well, some of the people who are coming on the night have seen you talk and they're really excited to see you again. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And yeah, everyone's really excited. Thanks, Dave.
Yep. Thank you, Kylie. See you next month.
See you then.